welcome back, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed that first show. What a twist. The same rules apply from the first play, but just to jog your memory, while it is okay to show your support in the chat, remember to keep it appropriate and respectful. And in the event of technical difficulties, we'll fix them as quickly as possible, so please bear with us. Again, we're so glad you're here. We now present Butter in a Lordly Dish by Agatha Christie.
Hi, Dad.
That you, Flory?
Yes.
Hello, dear.
Is my nose telling me there's something good for lunch?
Fish and chips.
Good. What are all these suitcases doing here? They're all over the place.
It's Miss King's things.
Oh, the renter? She's going away?
Yes, but she's not taking these with her. Just one small bag.
Why?
Because she's not certain yet where she'll be. She'll let us know what to send all these.
Seems weird to me, going away and not knowing where she's going.
What do you mean?
I'll bet she's off the weekend with someone.
No, don't act like that. It's not nice.
Alright, but if you ask me, there's something fishy about our Mrs. Keene.
Now stop it, Flory. She's a very nice lady. Always speaks so pleasantly.
She's the kind of person that gets things from her shop without actually paying for them. Make sure she pays you before she leaves.
She has paid me right up to tomorrow and a bit over for leaving the suitcases and sending them. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for being so suspicious.
Alright, but I know what I know.
What do you know?
Well, it was just last week. I was going along Monterey Boulevard in St. Francis Woods, and there was a party at one of those big houses, you know? Cocktails and fancy cars and all that.
Well,
who should I see coming out with a tall, handsome man but our Mrs. Keene, dressed to kill in a designer dress and Gucci shoes. She looked fantastic, of course, but it's odd, you'll admit.
what?
Going to fancy society houses all dressed up and renting here with us just off of Kintara, it doesn't fit somehow.
And I suppose you have some wild idea to account for it?
If you ask me, she's in one of those gangs of society burglars.
Nonsense!
Goes along places and finds out where the stuff is kept, and when the house is likely to be empty, she spreads the words onto the gang.
And if you ask me, you watch too many movies. Gangs indeed.
Well, gangs aren't only in the movies. You read about them on the news, too.
Nonsense!
Oh, come on, Dad. You like a nice bit of crime yourself.
Talking of crime, is the verdict on that taxi driver case?
Not yet, just the judge's instructions.
Oh.
You know, I don't see what use judges are. They don't seem to say anything useful or tell the jury what they should do.
What do you mean?
Well, listen to this. Whereas Luke Enderby has stated in the case of the prosecution, etc., but at the same time, you must take into the account of the defense, etc., in which case you have no alternative but to acquit the accused. Why doesn't he just tell them if the defendant is guilty or not?
Perhaps he doesn't know.
Well, he is the judge, isn't he? What if we had weather forecasts like that? If the weather improves tomorrow, it'll be warm and sunny. On the other hand, if a storm comes, it'll be wet and cold.
May as well have weather forecasts like that, for all the good they are. Ruined my best hat last Sunday listening to what they said.
Now, I like a man like Luke Enderby, the lawyer who was prosecuting, gave it to the jury hot and strong he did. Beautiful it was, especially that bit about doing their duty, however painful, and like how the people, like the defendant, were a menace to society.
I remember Luke Enderby on the blonde on the beach murder.
Yeah, that's the man.
All those poor girls led to their death by a sadistic murderer. That was a good murder, that was. I don't like this taxi driver murder so much.
No, it's a bit dull.
But of course, he did it all right.
Yeah, but he looked like such an insignificant little man. Now Garfield, the blonde on the beach murderer, he was really good looking.
Now you be careful, Flory.
Why?
That's what all those poor girls thought. They let him pick them up as easy as pie. You be careful of those good-looking men that pick up girls.
Oh, that must be Mrs. Keene. Come in.
Good evening, Mr. Petter.
Good evening, Miss Keene.
Good evening, Flory.
Good evening.
I was wondering if I might use your phone, Mr. Petter. My phone is dead.
Why, certainly, Miss Keene.
Thank you. It isn't foggy outside, is it, Flory?
Just a bit, not much.
It We'll be all right in the country, I hope.
You're going to the country?
Oh, just for the weekend.
Come on, Florrie.
Hello? May I speak to Luke Enderby, please? All right, I see. No message, no name. I'll call again later.
No message, no name. She'll call again later. Another of them. There's the front door. First the phone, then the door. If it's not one thing, it's another.
Hello, Hayward.
Hello, Miss Warren. Mrs. Enderby isn't in yet, but she's expecting you.
Oh, that's all right. Luke's still at the courthouse, I suppose?
Yes, ma'am.
How's your arthritis, Hayward?
It's been bad lately. What with the phone and answering the door.
I'm sorry.
These stresses are very inconvenient. I said to Mrs. Enderby only yesterday how much different it could be if we could have a nice condo.
But a nice condo wouldn't fit all of Marion's nice things.
Yes, Mrs. Enderby has some very nice things. She's out shopping this afternoon.
Oh, so that's where she is. There'll be even more nice things presently. No hope for that nice condo, Hayward.
No.
It's more likely to be an even larger house.
Oh, don't suggest that. Would you like anything?
No, thank you. I'll entertain myself with this book.
All right, ma'am.
Criminal Jurisprudence. This one's Luke's, I suppose?
Yes.
A bit heavy for me.
That is either Mr. or Mrs. Enderby.
Well, look who's here.
Hello, Luke.
Lovely to see you, Susan. Where's Marion?
I think she's out shopping.
Oh, that'll mean more Boule cabinets and Aubusson carpets and Chinese bronzes. Any messages for me, Hayward?
A lady called in just now, sir. She didn't leave a name or a message.
I wonder who that could be.
I suppose you couldn't possibly guess.
Should I bring in tea, sir?
Yes, please.
Thank you, sir.
Do you encourage them to call you up here, Luke?
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, come on, darling. I mean, all your various lady friends?
Aren't you well aware, Susan, that you're the only girl I've ever loved?
I swear, I'm so surprised that you're not at a loss for an answer right now.
I'm never at a loss for an answer.
You came back from court, right? How'd the case go?
The case. Oh, that. Guilty. Couldn't have been any other verdict. Why the jury wanted to stay out 2.5 hours, I can't imagine.
Yes, after you gave your masterly speech, they should have just brought him in guilty without having to leave the box.
After all, he did shoot the taxi driver.
Yes, I can't pretend there's been a grave miscarriage of justice, although I always try to.
Why?
Just to annoy you.
Why do you want to get your knife into me? What have I done to you?
Nothing. You just look so completely sure of yourself and so thoroughly pleased with yourself.
Darlings, am I terribly late?
Hi, Marion.
Susan, dear, how nice to see you. Why on earth haven't you started tea? Oh, good. Hayward's bringing it now.
Were there any letters for me?
In your study, sir.
I'd better just have a look at them.
I hope I haven't kept you waiting very long.
Oh, no. I've just been, entertaining myself with this book.
Oh my goodness, not criminal jurisprudence.
Does Luke really read this sort of thing for fun?
Not exactly for fun, just to look up some special point.
Oh, darling, I know the sort of thing. Like Double Check versus Fathead and how it affected the case of the state versus jury limited product today. I really think the law is extraordinary.
I must say, sometimes it doesn't seem very sensible.
Luke's looking rather pleased with himself lately.
I suppose the verdict was guilty. He said it was an absolute certainty.
Naturally, he was just slightly annoyed that the jury was impertinent enough to make him stay an extra 2.5 hours.
Susan, dear, that's not very kind.
Oh, darling, it was abominable of me, but I know I would hate to be on the stand charged with murder and have Luke prosecuting.
But you'd like if he were defending you.
Perhaps, but he never really does seem to be defending people.
Well, anyways, if you were innocent, you'd have nothing to be afraid of.
Wouldn't I?
Innocent people are always acquitted.
Are they? I wonder.
Of course. Ask Luke. Luke, dear. I guess. Oh.
Ask Luke what?
Are innocent people always acquitted?
No need to worry about that. The real worry is that some cold-blooded murderer gets off scot-free because some sentimental women on the jury like his face.
The blonde on the beach killer, Garfield.
But he wasn't acquitted.
No, but he might have been. There were 4 women on the jury.
Amazing how women can fall for a guy like that. How many women had he actually killed?
Certainly 2.
The original girl at Baker Beach, and then the girl at Stinson.
Probably 3. And possibly a good many more.
He was terribly good looking. Mad, I suppose.
Oh no, not in the legal sense. He certainly knew what he was doing.
Couldn't you two possibly stop talking about murders?
Sorry, darling. Tell me what you've been doing. Sotheby's?
No. Christie's, my dears. I got the most lovely pair of Chinese pictures painted on glass. Absolutely exquisite!
And where will you put them?
I'm going to put them on that wall over there. There were a lot of dealers after them. They ran me up rather high.
Just as well I make a bit as a lawyer.
You hang the people and Marion hangs the pictures.
Oh, but they really are unique.
So is House, darling. Absolute perfection.
It should be when you consider that Marion's house comes first and Marion's husband a long way after.
What nonsense. I'm the most devoted wife.
You're the most wonderful wife a man ever had.
More tea, dear?
No time, I must be off. Gotta catch a train to Palo Alto.
Why Palo Alto?
Work to be done.
Oh, what a bore. You ought to have some time off here. You work far too hard.
I'll have a real rest one of these days. Goodbye, darling. Take care of yourself.
Bye, dear.
Bye, Susan. Be good.
Wouldn't that be better from me to you?
Now then, Susan, I must run. Gotta catch a train.
Off to be another woman, I suppose.
Probably.
I don't know how you stand it, Marion.
After a time, one doesn't mind so much.
Are they? I wonder. Tell me, how long have you two been married?
10 years.
And practically all that time, Luke's been chasing after one woman or another.
Not on the honeymoon. I think he was absolutely faithful on the honeymoon.
Darling, that's probably the most cutting thing I've ever heard you say. Have you considered leaving him?
I've considered it, yes.
But do you even still care for him?
Oh, darling, there are so many things that go to make up a marriage. They're the boys, they're devoted to him, and he's an excellent father. He's always so kind and charming to me. I think he's really very fond of me. All these women don't really mean anything, you know.
Oh.
These infatuations never last. They're just, well, weakness on his part. Any good-looking woman has to throw herself at him, and, well, he accepts the challenge.
Any idea whose challenge he's accepting right now?
I think this is a new one, by all the signs.
Any idea who she is?
None at all.
I wonder where they're meeting. Certainly not Palo Alto. I wonder.
Luke, what was that? The train station is so loud I can't hear you.
I was afraid you wouldn't come.
What a busy place it is. I never noticed until now.
Julia.
I called, but you weren't in.
I'd heard someone had called. I was afraid to say it was to say you'd changed your mind.
As if I would.
Oh, Julia, how beautiful you are. I do love you.
You can't say things like that out in public. Besides, we'll miss our train.
I don't even know where we're going.
Makes it all the more fun, doesn't it? Come on, we must hurry.
Where are we going?
Oh, the station's called Warning Halt. Come on.
Warning Halt. Never heard of it.
Nobody has.
Sounds like it's in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, come on, we must run.
Warning halt station.
Oh, thank goodness. No fog here.
Yes, thank goodness. Do we get a taxi?
Oh no, we walk. My cabin is only about 3 minutes that way.
Tickets, please. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Oh no. Luke, we go this way. There's a shortcut across the field.
Oh, it's a heavenly night. Just look at those clouds chasing each other across the moon.
Oh, come on, you old poet. It's too cold to stand out stargazing.
You know, I never knew you had a cabin in the country.
But then you don't know much about me, do you?
Oh, I know that when I saw you standing there across the room at the Ritz that day and you smiled at me that the whole world changed. Just over 2 weeks ago, it feels like a lifetime. And now, at last...
Oh, darling, you don't mind coming here to my cabin, do you? I just did so hate the idea of a hotel for us. It just seemed so, I don't know, sordid. The subterfuges, the false names, perhaps even meeting somebody who might recognize us, more like recognize you. Oh, I just couldn't bear it. You do understand, don't you?
Of course I do, dearest. And I love you even more for being so sensitive. All that matters now is that we should be together. I don't care how primitive the place is.
I'll have you know that my cabin is not primitive. It has every creature comfort, hot water, Wi-Fi, and to keep us going, the best food that money can buy.
Ah, sounds wonderful.
Oh, we're almost here. Let me find the key. Okay, got it. There we are. How do you like my retreat?
It's delightful. What a charming place.
I'd hoped you'd like it. Now then, you just set a match to the fire and I'll bring in supper. It's all ready.
What a wonderful woman you are, Julia. Even your fire lights up and burns at once. Isn't that supposed to be a sign that your lover is true to you? What a lovely thing a fire is on an autumn night. Julia?
Coming!
You're a wonderful woman.
What? Oh, here we are. Now then, what were you saying?
That you're the most wonderful creature in the world. There's something different about you from any other woman I've ever met.
And how many women have you said that to?
Darling.
No, Luke. Be good. Supper first. Definitely supper. And though I say it myself, rather a good supper.
My God, cold duck? And is that pâté?
It is.
And is that immense yellow pyramid real butter?
Butter. In a lordly dish.
It sounds quite biblical.
Does it? Is my lord satisfied with what his servant has set before him?
You enchanting creature, Julia.
No, Luke. Wait just a little. I insist on stern self-control until after supper. Well then, you just sit by the fire in that armchair over there. I'll put your coffee by you here.
Ah, what a perfect meal that was. And now, perfect coffee. Damn few women can make good coffee. You're a wonderful woman, Julia. It's crazy that just 2 weeks ago I'd never even seen you.
I've known you by sight a much longer time. You were playing.
Really?
You're a very celebrated man.
Nonsense.
You're the most famous lawyer in California. Tell me, does it ever upset you to feel that your eloquence and your power has got some poor wretch convicted?
Not if the poor wretch richly deserves it.
But supposing he doesn't? Supposing he's innocent?
I'm pretty sure that what you so romantically call my eloquence and power, I don't think they've ever convicted an innocent man.
No?
There's not usually much doubt about murderers who get convicted. The trouble is that occasionally one gets off who's guilty as hell.
Garfield didn't get off.
The blonde on the beach murderer?
Yes, him.
No doubt about him.
But supposing he wasn't guilty? There wasn't really very much evidence against him, was there?
My dear girl, the police have been after Garfield for months. There have been 2 girls before that, remember? And they tried to get him before, but I believe his wife always gave the most wonderful alibi. Not that a wife's word goes very far, but in the absence of definite evidence of his having been seen with the girls near the times of the murders, they couldn't risk charging him before.
See, that's what I'm saying. There wasn't really any solid evidence against him.
Now look here, Julia, talking strict facts, not legal tender, but plain off the record common sense.
Well?
Garfield goes out with girl number 1. She's strangled. He goes on a date with girl number 2. She's found dead. And then he carries on with girl number 3, and she's murdered. Can't be coincidence. The fellow's got a sex complex and can't resist killing these girls.
But then why didn't they just say he was insane?
Because he wasn't. He knew exactly what he was doing and what would happen to him if he got caught. And he was so extraordinarily clever that it wasn't easy to catch him.
Wait, but wasn't the pretrial ruling in his favor?
Yes, the actual evidence was thin, but it wasn't needed. The jury took one look at him and made up their minds.
No, Luke. They listened to you. You got him convicted.
Well, perhaps I did my bit. He was a nice-looking man. A plausible way with him. A couple of women on the jury were looking quite sentimental about him. I had to squash that.
You know what they say, women have very good instincts.
Now, don't give me that old stuff about a woman's instinct. Women are notorious for liking bad boys. Just look at that wife of his. Blindly devoted to him, apparently. If she hadn't been in the hospital with COVID at the time of the trial, she might somehow have pulled the trick again. I never saw her, but I believe she was an amazingly good liar, or so Inspector Garrett told me. When she swore to him that Garfield had been with her at the crucial times, you couldn't help believe her. Amazing creatures, women.
What's the matter?
I've got a cramp in my leg. That's better.
Have some more coffee.
Thank you. Now, what were we talking about?
Killing.
Oh, Garfield. If that man had been able to leave women alone, he'd be alive today.
But some men just can't leave women alone, can they? Can they, Luke?
Oh, I'm fond of women, I admit it. But this time, with you, it's something quite different.
Yes, one always has to say that. It's expected. Tell me, how does your wife feel about these excursions of yours?
I think we'd better leave my wife out of it.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Butter in a lordly dish. Funny how that keeps running in my mind. Why do I feel those words have got a kind of ominous sound to them? I wish I could remember.
Would these help you to remember?
I can't quite see what it is you've got there. What's going on with my eyes? I can't focus properly.
It's a hammer and some nails.
You extraordinary woman. What do you want a hammer and nails for?
Perhaps to hang up a picture on the wall.
At this time of night? Really, Julia, what a sadistic idea.
Yes, it is sadistic, but then women can be sadistic. It was, of course, a grave breach of hospitality.
What was?
What Jael did to Sisera.
Jail? Sisera? Of course, I've got it. Jael and Sisera. She's the one who brought him butter in a lordly dish and then hammered a nail through his forehead. A nail.
What's the matter, Luke?
Look here. Damn. Stiff and cramped all over. Something's going on with my eyes. Misty. I can't get up.
No, you can't get up. That's the result of the drug in your coffee.
Drug in my coffee? What do you mean?
Oh, the drug that I put in your coffee. Tell me, Luke, do you know who I am?
You're Julia?
Julia, of course, but my other name?
Keene. Julia Keene.
Oh no, I took the name of Keene. I figured my own name would be rather too conspicuous. I'm Julia Garfield, Luke.
What? Garfield? Garfield?
I'm Henry Garfield's wife. That is, I should be Henry Garfield's wife. But for you, because of your eloquence and your legal tricks, I'm Henry Garfield's widow.
What's all this? What are you up to? You got me here.
It wasn't very difficult. I knew your reputation. You fall for women very easily, don't you, Luke?
Let's get out of here.
I loved Henry Garfield.
Must get out of here.
I loved Henry Garfield. And you killed him!
Henry Garfield was a murderer.
Oh, no, he wasn't. I killed those women.
You?
Oh, it wasn't Henry's fault. He just fell easily for women. Like you. But I wasn't like your wife, content to sit at home and bat my eyes and buy my pretty little things and ignore it. I wasn't going to share Henry with any women. Silly, giggling little blondes. They didn't giggle when I'd finished with them.
Stop it!
You're right. I must stop it. There are things to do.
You're mad. You're mad!
Oh, not in the legal sense. I know quite well what I'm going to do.
Put that hammer down! Get away from me! Gosh, I can't move! Keep away from me! Marion! Marion! Keep away from me! Keep away! Keep away!